Thank you very much for your work, Vanny. And here we are in the tail end of World Mental Health Day, and a quote that has always stuck with me has been by C.S. Lewis, who says, "Mental pain is less dramatic than physical pain, but it is more common and also more hard to bear. The frequent attempt to conceal mental pain increases the burden. It is much easier to say my tooth is aching than my heart is broken." And that is why we have chosen to support Take This for this marathon. And we are getting ready for a Final Fantasy IV noCW or Credits Warp run by Couch23. Couch, how you doing?
Doing fantastic. How about you?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. Vanny, how you doing?
Well, the hype certainly hasn't died since my hosting shift, and I have to mention that, speaking of hype, we've got an explosion of gift subs here in chat, courtesy of our very own Tina Hacks.
I think this is Tina saying that she was going to do subs for each of her deaths, including the intentional ones. So thank you very much, Tina. A whole 11 tier 1 subs. Remember that all subs and bits donations do also make their way to Take This during this marathon. So that's good. So, how are we feeling about the run?
I'm feeling pretty fantastic about it. Ready to go.
Yep, so just let me say before we begin, we're going to be cutting off the names for Kane and Cecil around 8 minutes. So go ahead and get your donations in for those if you want to. Right now, Cecil, TAKTHS will Take This, is in first place with $10. And Jazetta is in second place with 5. And Kane is currently first part of that phone number, 1-800, with a certain amount, $7, because I forgot the number 7 for a minute. Anyway, I will hand it over to our runner and our commentator. Take it away, boys.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Bob. So, this is Final Fantasy IV, the No Credits Warp run. We'll explain what that category means a little later on, but something that I should mention here that you didn't see happen, but I can safely assume that it did, is that Couch has set up the seed on this run to be a particular one, and that seed is 92. And what that does is, in the very first part of the game, namely when he's walking from Baron to the Misty Cave and then through it, he will not get any random encounters on the way there. It's a technique that can save well over 30 seconds to do, and it can be painstaking to set up. So you don't see that happen, but I assure you that it has.
Yeah, it was first try.
Okay, or just Couch is a god and he just gets it on first try. Awesome. So, alrighty. I suppose we're ready when you are, Couch.
I'm all ready to go if you want to count me in.
I would love to. Couch, get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Alrighty.
All right, thank you.
Good luck, Couch. Alrighty, so the very first part of this game is a fairly lengthy cutscene where we see Cecil being sent on a mission to go to the town of Mysidia to steal their crystal from orders of the King of Baron, where Cecil is the captain of their aerial army known as the Red Wings, and soldiers at his command are now laying waste to the lovely white and black mages of the town. The Elder is going to be shoved out of the way as Cecil himself will snatch the crystal from its pedestal. Now, Cecil is doing this because he has been commanded to do so, but he doesn't feel so great about it, and those feelings are going to swell up in a dramatic and significant way in just a couple of minutes. But first, we have a couple of battles that we need to quote-unquote fight. These are totally scripted, and in fact, he's not going to be entering any specific commands. However, you are going to see that during the animation for these attacks, that he's going to be pausing. So the point of doing that, and there is a specific purpose, while the game is paused. Oh, he doesn't get Raven Skip though. While the game is paused, the in-game timer will stop, and this is significant when it comes to doing the 64 door glitch that will happen about a minute, an hour, and let's say 45 or 50 minutes or so into the run. There are many factors that go into making that glitch work properly, and having the proper in-game timer is definitely one of those elements. You'll hear us refer to a bacon chart later, and we'll explain more of what that means as it becomes more relevant.
Can I slip in with a dono?
Go right ahead.
JDP has sent us $5 and says, "You can do it, Couch. Do it for Phil from Encounting. This incentive is going towards calling Keller corpse."
I like it.
I thought you would.
Good old Phil.
Good old Phil. Shout outs. Alrighty. So here we see Cecil's arrival back at the castle. Baigen escorts him into the throne room, where he takes the crystal from Cecil, and then the king dismisses him. But before Cecil goes, he's got a little something more he would like to say. And King isn't trying to hear that. So not only does he fire Cecil from his post as commander of the Red Wings, but he sends him on a mission to go and deliver a specific package to Mist. And in comes Cecil's buddy Kane, who says, "You know what? That's not cool." And the king says, "You're right, that's not cool," which means you're going with him. So Kane is going to go freshen up while Cecil is going to do a couple things, like change his menu. He's going to drop battle speed and battle message down to 1. And then we've got a couple of things that we need to do here. Namely, we take a small detour over here to pick up the tent that is in that treasure chest on the right. That is going to be very important for a rather significant glitch that will be happening in a few minutes. Small cutscene here to speak with Cecil's main squeeze. That would be Rosa. And then time for a little chat with everyone's favorite wacky engineer. That would be Sid. So we have a little talk with him, and then he phases through Cecil because he's a ghost like that, I guess. Cecil's had quite enough of this. This has been a very emotional day. So he's going to do a little pirouette off of that stool, and then go to sleep clad in full armor. And the thoughts are keeping him awake, and then so is his girlfriend.
So if anybody noticed, I did take an extra step off of the stool and back onto it. That stool is actually it doesn't count towards my step counter at all. So I wanted to advance the step counter by exactly 1 step. So stepping on and off of that stool again advances the step counter by 1, which will allow me to get 0 encounters all the way up through Mist Dragon and Mist.
And to kind of build on that, the whole theme of taking steps like that in certain places is going to be very important when it comes to the step route that he is going to be on. Now, like I said, we set the seed at seed 92 to start this run, but We're going to be doing a save and reset in a few minutes, and at that point, once you reset, the seed cycles every frame from values anywhere from 0 to 255. They cycle in numeric order on the title screen. So where you press the frame on which you press A on that title screen is going to set your seed for the rest of that run until you either die or you would reset again. So, Couch, are you going to be aiming for seed 43?
No,
here?
I'm just going to be doing a soft reset.
Okay, so he's going to be doing a soft reset. So the difference between doing a soft reset and what would be called a hard reset is that the first frame that is going to start rolling the seeds, we don't know what seed that's going to be. So luckily, we have a whole slew of charts that have been put together by a huge contributor to the speedrun of this game. It's a gentleman who goes by the name of Exodon, and he has determined that based on how many steps until you get certain encounters, and sometimes even the actual battle formation in those encounters, can help us to pinpoint exactly which of the 256 seeds you are on in that particular moment, or on that particular instance. So Couch is going to be paying very close attention to that in a few minutes after he does the reset, and then a cutscene ensues, because that's when you're actually going to start walking back on the world map. So speaking of walking on the world map, Couch is going to get his first opportunity to do that here, and he is going to take this opportunity to go to this little forest down here in the southwest and grab a galliform bird that we all know to be chocobos. This will allow us to not only not advance our step counter, but to run up to this misty cave without any encounters. Now, normally this misty cave is fraught with peril in the form of random encounters getting in your way, but you will notice that Couch is going to glide through this entire cave with the greatest of ease. And then that ease is going to come to a grinding halt pretty soon when a mist dragon approaches, or demist, comes in. Now, there's going to be a couple of very particular things that Couch is going to do here. First of all, he's going... Oh, nice crit by Cecil there. He's going to be paying attention to how many times he is hitting and jumping with his characters here, because Mist Dragon is going to take a mist form. You do not want to attack during them, because not only will you take damage, but it will waste time. This was supposed to be kind of like a clue you into the whole ATB mechanic of this game. The second thing that Couch is going to do here is he's going to jump at a very particular time. He's listening to a sound cue. There it goes. So now what he's going to do in the item menu here with Cecil is he is going to set up a duplication glitch. What he's going to do is he's basically going to underflow the amount of shields that he has there. In this case specifically, looks like he's doing iron shields. And he is going to sell them for a whole big bunch of gold. Oh, that was a nice Mist Dragon fight. Well done. All right, so he's through the Mist Dragon, and here's the Town of Mist, but not quite yet.
I'm going to need names in just a minute.
Yeah, you saw what Couch did there was, before he went into that menu, he quickly turned around to the left and then used the 10. What this is doing is confusing the game to his actual coordinates. He's going to step on the town. He's going to complete his duplication glitch here. He's also going to take off that iron glove from Kane. That's going to be very important coming up later in the run. Now that he makes the save, he's going to be able to walk over Mist and into town.
After the shop, I need names.
Alrighty.
Ready to go when you are.
All right, soon as I hop in the inn, we'll hit the naming way up, and then we'll advance on.
Bear in mind,
Alright.
I'm seeing a bit of a delay, so let me know.
Cecil.
Cecil will be. Take this. It's capital TAK, capital THS.
And Kane.
Can you do spaces?
Yes.
So it's going to be 1 space 800. So 1 space 800.
Actually, I don't think I can do spaces.
Do the dash
So
instead.
no,
Yeah,
do the dash.
Yeah.
When I say 800.
Yep.
Cool.
1-800.
Oh, 1-800. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
When do we need to cut off the next set of names?
Quite a while now.
Okay, because you've got a bit of a bid war heating up for Teller's name.
Yeah, we got all the way up till Fabul.
Okay, so we've got quite a while.
Yeah, we got quite a while. About
Cool.
30 minutes or so.
Maybe give me like 5 minutes warning.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, cool.
Alrighty, so now that Couch has done that detour to name the characters, he's going to go into this house here, and he's going to loot a couple of fairly important items, some pieces of equipment to be specific. He is picking up the tiara, which you saw him do there, and then he's going to make this trek down here through the darkness to get the change rod. The tiara is an extremely powerful piece of armor, especially for this juncture in the game, that he is going to give to Rydia, which we will be getting in the next few minutes, which is going to make her less likely to just basically die instantly because she's only level 1 and extremely squishy. And then the change rod is going to be used much later to boost magic power on some certain mages. So now we see what this package was all about that we received from the King of Baron. It was actually a trap that opens up automatically as soon as you enter town, and it is going to set everything ablaze in fiery horror. And Cecil and Kane are caught flat-footed by this. They had no idea that this is what was going on. But they also see that it's gone from bad to worse because this fire has... it has killed this poor woman, and her green-haired daughter is not very happy about it. And so Cecil and Kane say, what do we do? Kane says, let's just snatch her and bring her with us. And Cecil's like, dude, that doesn't sound cool. Rydia agrees. And then a confrontation ensues. And Girl here is going to get the best of this confrontation because she is going to summon Titan, who is going to create an earthquake that is going to do a significant amount of damage to 1-800 and take this. But also, it is going to separate Cecil from Kane. And once Cecil comes to, he will be very dismayed by this realization. But he does have an unconscious little girl with him, so he knows he probably should do some good with her. Namely, take her to some place where she can rest. 1-800? 1-800? 1-800! All right. So that encounter he got was step 4. He is going to be... Oh, I'm sorry, that's step 3. He's going to be charting exactly where he is getting these encounters so that he can help to determine what seed he is on. All right, so now we find ourselves in the town of Kaipo, where Cecil makes a dash straight for the nearest inn. The innkeep says, yeah, she should rest. Don't worry about paying me. So Cecil says, all right, you can rest. And Rydia's just like, go away. So Cecil decides to give her some space. And then night falls. And then we are awoken by invading soldiers who want the girl. Cecil says, and a fight ensues. Now, what you're going to see Couch do here, this is the very first instance of what is called run buffering. In battles where you cannot run away, if you try to run, you're going to get that message up top that says can't run. This is very significant because during that time, everyone's ATB freezes, including the enemies. But during that time, you can input menu commands without the enemy's ATB advancing. We're going to use this. This is actually going to be a very crucial technique used at various points in the game to make sure that we get the leg up on enemies or even perform certain glitches properly. Okay, so now Rydia is very impressed by Cecil's valor in protecting her. So she says, okay, you know what? We're cool now. My name's Rydia. Let's join forces and let's get on out of here. So we're going to take this opportunity to put that TR right on Rydia, put her into the back slot there so that she takes much less physical damage, and then we're out of the inn. One stop we need to make here is going to be to go into this random house where Cecil will discover, where Take This will discover that his lady friend Rosa has contracted a case of desert fever and will be bedridden until she can be given the cure that comes from a certain sand ruby given to us by a boss that we'll be fighting a little later. So now we're going to make the walk to and through the Watery Pass. Bob, this would actually be a good time for donations.
Oh, lovely. We got some to read out. So we heard about Phil from accounting. We then had Casual Geek Dave donating $3. It says, let's push calling Teller corpse over the edge. Couch too hype. And then Scala Kitty fired back saying, sorry folks, Teller's going to be 273 in honor of the suicide prevention hotline and all the good life-saving work that they do. Which I completely agree with. But one thing I did want to raise is during Final Fantasy IV, there is a prize. A $20 donation will enter you into the prize for the Mysidian Legend t-shirt, which you can see on the donation, the incentives. There's a tab at the bottom that says prizes. You can click on that, and there's a link to an Imgur picture. So check that out, as well as the overall marathon prize. If your donations total $50 or more, you will be entered into the drawing for the SNES Classic, thank you, which is donated by Casual Geek Dave. So, and there are a ton of other marathon-wide prizes as well. Just go to the page, check them all out, and get your donations rolling in. We've still got a bunch of names for this and a bunch of stuff coming up in the future, which I will go through a little bit later.
Alrighty, thank you for that, Bob. So,
thank you.
We are now at a small cutscene here. Couch was keeping very close track of where he got those encounters here in the Watery Pass, and I want to ask you, Couch, do you know what seed you're on?
Yeah, seed 229.
Seed 229. Okay, so Couch is going to have a chart that is going to show him where at various locations throughout the game, whether or not he's going to need to take what are called extra steps. Do you have any to do here in this save room?
No, I won't have any until the waterfall, actually.
Okay. All right. So you're not going to see this for a little bit. But he's gonna be doing what I like to call pirouettes, where he's basically just gonna be walking back and forth in place for seemingly no reason, but it's actually a very good reason. The reason why we do this is because it's going to allow us to burn steps when it comes to what's on our encounter chart, but this is going to be done in order to either avoid encounters altogether or to make it so that the next one we would get is more favorable than another one, or maybe one that's less dangerous, shall we say. So we're actually about to exit the Watery Cave. We're going to take a small detour here to pick up a Darkness Sword. This is going to be an upgrade to Cecil's weapon, which is going to be especially important for the next boss that we're going to fight. All right, so into the waterfall we go. And okay, just a few pirouettes there. I think those, what, 6 extra steps?
Yeah.
Very good. Alrighty, so just one more screen to go here, and then we will have an encounter with some people's favorite tentacled boss. Oh, those tiny mages. Oh, my commentary is going to be a little further ahead. I can actually kind of see what's going on here.
Maybe I could cut in and get a quick dono in.
Yeah, bring one in. That's good.
Silver Moon 9000 donates $20 and says toward 273 for Teller. Thank you so much, Silver Moon.
Oh, shoot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pause. All right. So we are now in the battle with Octoman. So here's how this works. Octomam starts with 8 tentacles. Every time that a tentacle disappears, Octomam's speed drops, which is very important because it starts out with a ton of speed. We get rid of those tentacles by hitting him. Every 2 hits he takes, he will lose a tentacle, with the exception of the first tentacle, which takes 3 hits to drop. The strategy here is to just wail away with Cecil. The dancing daggers that were purchased in Mist. One of them is going to go on to Rydia here, and she's going to throw them to do a whole bunch of magical damage to this boss. Tella is going to cast Lit a couple times, and then after that, his usefulness plummets rather quickly. So we're going to have him cast the Stop spell on himself. This is very intentional. The reason why is because it's actually faster for him to take no actions than it is for us to either tell him to parry or to cast another Lit spell again, because the point of diminishing returns has passed when it comes to the amount of damage that he does with them. So once we get down to 1 tentacle, that usually is an indication that we're pretty close to killing him. And there it goes. Alrighty. So with Octomam defeated, we have made our way through the Watery Pass. And now we can come into Damsian. But wait. Couch is going to do a menu first, where he's going to rearrange some party members. This is going to set it up for the next character gain that he will do. And here we see the Red Wings, formerly under 1-800's command, laying waste to this kingdom for no apparent reason. So we're going to go in and investigate what's going on here. And we are going to discover this girl near death. Her name is Anna. She happens to be Tella's daughter. She also happens to be this bard's girlfriend. This bard is Edward. We all know Edward, right? Tella's not happy to see this guy. So there's going to be a bit of a battle here. And there's also going to be an extremely infamous line uttered by Tella here. And I'm pretty sure most of you know what it is. All right, so after that confrontation, Tella has seen enough. And he storms out. But we convince Edward to join us on our adventure. Alrighty, I'm trying to get things lined up here, and I think I'll be in much better shape right about now. Okay, so now there's much sadness going on. Edward's girlfriend has died. Tella has hit a bunch of people. And we just need to kind of move on with things. So we do convince Edward to join us on our adventure. And he's like, well, if you're going to let me hang out with you, you can use my sweet land speeder, which is going to be extremely useful.
We're actually going to do the name cutoff right around the time after we do the water hack fight.
All right, you heard in chat. If you want to get names in for, I do believe that's Rydia and Tella at that point.
Rydia, Edward, and Rosa.
And Rosa.
Tella won't actually be named until we get all the way back to Baron.
We weren't given an incentive for Rosa.
Okay, no Rosa incentive?
No.
All right.
Yeah, I want to say that cutoff is probably going to be in about 4 or 5 minutes, so it's coming up fairly soon.
Yeah.
Like I said, just get your donations in now. Don't try and snipe at the last minute, because it may take Tiltify a minute to put stuff through. So,
all right. So what you see Couch encountering here is one of the unfortunate parts of having to deal with random encounters, and that's getting a back attack, because not only do all of the enemies get an opportunity to attack, which wastes time, but they're also going to do damage to, especially to the characters that are in the back row, which are now in the front row because they're being attacked from their formation from behind. So this can be dangerous, but luckily he gets through it just fine. And Edward is now going to summon the antlion beast, who is going to just hand over the sand ruby, or not. It's actually going to attack Edward, and Cecil says, all right, let's destroy it. Here's how we're going to do this. We're not going to do physical attacks to this couch. We are not going to do physical attacks to this antlion, because if you do, he counters with a very nasty needles attack, which can do a lot of damage. Now, these dancing daggers that you're going to see Edward and Rydia throwing, these are coded as magical attacks, so it's not going to trigger. It's not going to trigger the counters, which is great. So it allows us to actually make this boss rather trivial, where it's only going to do like 1 or 2 damage to 1-800 and to Rydia, but and it's only going to do maybe like a handful of damage or so, maybe like 5 or 6 damage to Edward. So really no threat of dying to that boss unless you got dropped down to very critical by back attacks and whatnot before this battle started. So now we are going to walk our way out of this antlion cave and get back in our sweet ride. Oh, another back attack here. Oh boy. Now, at this point, if any of his characters die, that's not a problem, because we're going to get a full heal once we get back into Kaipo Town. So, on the way there, though, that would be the issue. Okay, now Couch is going to take a detour into that room there to do a few more extra steps, so that way he can avoid some encounters coming up in the short term, or he can push some more unfavorable ones out of the chart. So there was a definite purpose to doing that. It is not Kupo Town, Panzer. There will be no. Unfortunately, there are no Moogles to appreciate in this game.
Let him dream.
I suppose so. All right, so we're going to take this land speeder straight back to Kaipo now that we have Sand Ruby in hand, and we will use it to heal Rosa, which is good.
Question about the land speeder.
Yes.
Can you use it to bullseye womp rats?
Well, I mean, they're only 2 meters wide, so yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to ask that question forever.
All right, cut off for Edward, Rosa, and Rydia.
Okay, like I said, Rosa we didn't have an incentive for, so she'll just be Rosa, I guess. Rydia and Edward, you said, right?
Correct, and I'll need those in like a minute or two.
Yep. I'll do one final refresh of Tiltify.
No love for Rosa. I'm surprised there aren't certain denizens of chat that are objecting heavily to this.
It's not that there's no love for Rosa. It's just it's not listed as an incentive. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that happened. Maybe a mix-up or something.
Yeah.
Scarlett's suggesting runner's choice for Rosa. I kind of like that idea.
Oh, okay.
I think you should name her Vanny.
I think you should name her Inven.
I got an idea.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay. All right, so this is the Water Hag quote-unquote fight. This is essentially scripted, where this Water Hag is going to die after it takes 3 attacks. It doesn't matter the amount of damage that you do. Now, this is going to be free for 2 reasons. First of all, Edward is in the center slot of the 5. This is going to raise his accuracy. Also, he's using the Dancing Dagger, which is going to raise his accuracy dramatically as well, so that he's always going to connect when he hits. If you were in another slot and using that Dreamer Harp, hits are definitely not guaranteed, and you actually run the risk of dying in that fight. And if you do, it is a legitimate game over. So, luckily, that's not happening here. So Ghost Girlfriend says goodbye for the final time, and Edward gains a couple levels for it. Alrighty.
Can we get Edward?
Edward will be Jazetta, capital J-A-Z-E-T-A.
Yes. Yes.
Z, I guess, since it's not Z, is it? It's Z.
Yep.
All right, Rydia?
Rydia will be called Bear. Capital B-E-A-R.
And Rosa is going to be... that.
Can't wait to see what it is on the screen.
Yeah, I'm rather far behind.
So at what point do we cut off the next set?
The next set probably won't be for, I want to say, another good 30 minutes or so.
And who will that be?
That will be Tella, Yang, and the twins.
Well played on that name there, Couch.
Yep.
No way you could object to that.
Yep.
Alrighty, so now that Rosa has been healed and characters have been named, we are going to make way to our next objective, which is going to be to traverse Mount Hobbs.
J. Hobbs,
but unfortunately, there is this enormous wall of ice blocking our way, and the only way to get through it is to melt it with some fire. Well, Rydia, being a summoner and all, she should know black magic. So Rosa is now going to kind of browbeat her into using this magic that she really doesn't want to do, and she's very scared of fire because it destroyed her town and her mom, and it's difficult. But luckily, Rydia summons the fortitude to cast a spell that she's never cast before. The wall of ice is gone, and our adventurers can continue. Alrighty. So now that we have made our way through that wall of ice, we will now be watching this martial arts expert go 1-on-3 against a group of imps. Now, you cannot control this fight. This karate man will, known as Yang, is going to alternate between doing kicks and punches. However, we do have a handy chart here that will show us, based on the damage values that show up from his first kick, how many turns it's going to take him to get through this. Ideally, it's 3. Anything beyond that is a waste of time. Couch got the 3 turns, so we're good here. All right, now comes the battle with Bomb Bomb. So you're going to see we employ that that run buffer with Edward here to sneak in some extra turns. This first phase of Bomb Bomb needs to suffer 800 damage before it will skip to its next phase, where we will actually be able to progress here. He's done 800, so that's fine. So once we know we've done 800, we're going to make sure that we're on Yang. And Couch is actually going to kick at a very specific time after that exploding message comes up. Everybody's going to suffer damage, and then now it's time for the real fight. So now we're going to have our dagger wielders throw these daggers to take out these bombs. Yang is going to do a kick to spread out some damage amongst all of them. Rosa is going to snipe the red one that's suffered. Oh no, not enough though. Oh, and how are we looking here? Good.
You got to keep you guys on edge.
There you go. Okay, very good. It is rather important that Jazeta here survives this fight, because the level up that he gets there is going to increase his maximum hit points, which is going to be very important for him to have for the next time that we do that he will do battle. So Yang is very impressed by all the help that he's gotten, and he tells us of his plight, and he decides to join these brave adventurers. So now we have a full party. So now we're going to make our way down this mountain and make a very long trek from here to the kingdom of Fabul, which is where this karate man Yang is from. Bob, if you have any donations, this would be a wonderful time for them.
Actually, what I would like to do is talk a little bit about some of Take This's methodology, because I know that before, during the last run, you spoke about how they approach companies and things like that, but one of the more fundamental things they do is they go to conventions and reach out to gamers about the stigma and how to break it and how to approach it, because one of the most important things you can do to someone who is suffering is listen to them and believe them. And it is mentioned that Take This is going to be in the near future at PAX Unplugged in December, which I know a bunch of us that are here are going to be going to, so hopefully we can go by and see them. They're going to be at MagFest, which is down the street from AGDQ, and PAX South in January. So it's going to be we've got quite a lineup coming. And if you'd like to support them after this marathon is done, please make sure to follow them on Twitter. They're at TakeThisOrg. Go to their Patreon, patreon.com, TakeThisOrg. That's kind of their branding everywhere. You can support them if you shop on Amazon via Amazon Smile. And there's a habit tracking app called Habitica. I think I pronounced that right. that helps promote the foundation of healthy, positive mental habits for everybody. And they've partnered with them as well. So there's a lot of information at your disposal from Take This. So go ahead and make use of it.
Very good. Thank you for that, Bob. All right, so Couch has entered what we refer to as the Fabul Gauntlet. This is going to be a series of 6 battles with no opportunity to menu or heal or anything like that in between them. So this is why it was so important to have as much HP for Edward as possible. Because one thing that happens here is that if Edward goes into critical HP status, he will automatically hide. And even if you have him show, which is the only command you can do when he's hidden, he's automatically going to go and hide again. So because he is our main damage dealer by far for this gauntlet, having him stay where he is basically not being a complete coward is of the utmost importance for going fast. So, so we do not want to see Jazeta here take any damage at all if we can at all help it. So that's 2 of the gauntlet battles down. The first, the third, and the 6th battles are the same. It's the general with the 2 fighters. Also, the 2nd and the 5th battles are the same, which is the Weeper, the Hag, and the Imp. So you see there, a Couch again. You know, he's going to be using that run buffer on all of these battles here. This is going to allow Edward. Edward's always going first because he's in that middle slot. Oh, and Yang definitely ate his Wheaties today. 154 crit on that fighter there. So we want Edward to go first because he can always one-shot those fighters and can one-shot the Weepers and this Gargoyle that's coming up too. So so we always want him to go first, which he can because he's in the center slot. But he also goes first because Couch is executing those run buffers at the perfect time. Now, during that Gargoyle battle, while that dancing dagger animation was going off, you saw when he had Yang's turn that he was doing some goofy stuff there with the Fire Claw, just like the shield that he did the duplication glitch with in the beginning so that he could sell it. He is duplicating the Fire Claws, which is the weapon that Yang uses. And the reason why he does this is because those Fire Claws, a very specific quantity of those Fire Claws, along with very specific items and specific quantities, are going to be just one of the many necessary elements to making sure that this 64-door glitch is executed properly. So Couch is in the clear now. Even if Edward were to take a big hit there, it doesn't matter because he doesn't really need it. Well, he's going to need him just to do one more attack here, and that's good. The way that these general and fighter fights work is that once the 2 fighters are dead, the general will automatically retreat, and then the battle will end. All right. Now, one thing that you might be seeing in Couch's inventory when he does item rearrangement is an item called the Carrot. The Carrot, in its intended use, is to summon a big Chocobo in the Chocobo Force for stealing items. That's not what we're going to be using it for. Take this, 1-800? 1-800! So here comes 1-800 to betray his best friend, and we're not exactly sure why. But unfortunately, he did not betray Couch because on his first jump, he did enough damage to get Take This into critical HP, which makes that cutscene much faster. So that was good. So now it's revealed that Kane is under the control of this man clad in darkness known as Golbez. Golbez wants him some crystals. So he is going to have his new minion Kane steal them. But he's also going to be stealing something else, which is Rosa. Or I'm sorry, Valks. And he's keeping her as collateral, just in case Cecil tries to pull anything funny. So we again find ourselves at a point of sadness. Kane is not our friend. Rosa is gone, and so is a crystal. But leave it to Rydia here to lift the spirits of everyone, not only literally with her cure, but also with her. I'm sorry, Bear. Bear is lifting spirits with her cure spells and her inspirational talks. All right, so our adventures are ready to go again. Now, the way that Couch is walking out of here is very deliberate too, as to whether he walks on the ground there or if he walks on that carpet. This is what are called optional steps. These are going to advance the step counter, but we consider them optional because we don't actually have to go out of our way or waste any time to do them. You know, whether or not we do these optional steps, the amount of tiles the number of tiles that we're actually walking on is going to be the same either way. Alrighty, so the King of Fabul is going to give us a black sword, and then we're going to do some other things here. Namely, Couch is going to finish the duplication of those fire claws with Yang. He's going to equip the black sword on Cecil. Oh, and he's not going to remove the tiara. Okay. Some runners there will opt to remove the tiara that Rydia is wearing to give to someone else later on, but not always. Alrighty. So we've done everything we need to do here in Fabul. We are going to get into this boat that the King of Fabul has fashioned for us so that we can make a nice, leisurely trip back to the Kingdom of Baron so that Cecil can so that Take This can confront the King of Baron about his dastardly deeds and set things right. So, that's, spoiler alert, that's exactly what's going to be happening here over the next couple of minutes. This would be a good time for donations too, Bob.
All right. Well, we are let's take a look forward, because we did say we are closing in on donation time to cut off for Teller and a few others. So right now Teller is at the name 273 with $32.55, or Corpse with $8. Yang is currently being called Shaq Fu for $5.55. The twins, Palam and Porum, are both being named Dead. We're gonna make them dead, see? With $28.33 each. And Sid has currently one name, which is 8255, which is ruling the roost with $7. We're looking forward to some of the other games that are coming up. We do have Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, the optional good versus bad ending. The bid war there is still all up for grabs. So,
all right, so our boat has stopped here because there is something large and ominous in the sea. And that would be Leviathan, who is an enormous ocean lizard who is not happy about this boat that has come into his personal space. And so he is going to lash out a couple times. This is going to cause Rydia to go overboard, Yank to check on it, and Cecil to just shove him in. Not sure why. Edward sees this and says, nope, not happening to me. So he's just going to go face down before Cecil gets the chance to shove him in. And into the whirlpool of despair goes the boat and our adventurers. Skip forward to Cecil waking up all alone on this large beach. And he will cry out to Bear, Jazeta, and Yang. I guess I'm alone. All right. So he's like, all right, let's just go into this nearby town. Certainly they can help me. Maybe not. This is the town of Mysidia that that our Dark Knight came in to steal the crystal from. All right. Now, what Couch is doing here is very important. He sold exactly 140 of those fire claws from that stack, so that he could get that number to a very specific value. He also bought some important items. Here, you're going to see him buy a few pieces of armor, but then from the item shop, he also bought, what did he buy? He bought Cure 2s, Lives, Heals, and Ether 1s. So now he's going to go talk to this elder. It's like, oh, really? You want my help after what you've done to me? Okay, check this out. If you want my help, take these children with you, go up to the top of Mount Ordeals, and become a paladin. That's all you got to do. NBD, right? Cecil doesn't really have a choice here. I'm sorry. Take This doesn't have a choice here. So Paladin and Porum, the Black Wizard and White Wizard, respectively, join his party. And off they go together. Casual Geek Dave, as much as I would love to have you donate $200, I think that is a bit unreasonable for me to do that.
I'm not translating, so
Alrighty. So, Couch is now making a rather long walk from Mysidia to Mount Ordeals. And this usually has quite a few encounters here. One of which he might use as an opportunity to do a particular setup. We will see.
We're not actually going to be doing that.
Oh. All right. Will Z be getting his vitamin A today?
Yeah.
Ah, got it. Okay.
We're playing it a little bit on the safe side.
Hey, you know what? This is a marathon. Nobody can fault you for that. Alrighty, so here we are on Mount Ordeals. This is actually a pretty perilous section of the game. Not part of that is because, hey, we had encountered a wall of ice. Now we encounter a wall of fire. Luckily, we have a legit Black Wizard with us who is going to burn down that wall. And he's going to hot dog about it a little bit. Now, Porum's not feeling that. So, Porum's going to give a little bit of the smacking to get him right. So after this, we go to Golbez's evil lair, where he will summon Mylon, another one of his minions, to go and put a roadblock in front of Take This and the children that accompany him. And we see Rosa tied up there, swinging back and forth. But to no avail, she's stuck. So we're going to keep walking up this mountain to get to where we need to go. But on our way there, who do we meet up with again? Ah, it's Tella. That's right, we haven't named Tella yet. So Tella's here because he was told that he would be able to discover the legendary spell Meteo up here, which he plans to use to rain fiery death down upon Golbez as his revenge for murdering his daughter. So everyone says, well, hey, we're on our way up to the top 2. Let's join forces. And so they do. But not after what's about like a 50-second long cutscene where all you're doing is just mashing through text.
Well, maybe then I should give a quick shout out to Penguinator, who donated $7. Say shout outs to my boys Couch and Vanny. Expect sub 2s from both of you tonight. Donation goes to naming Yang second best.
Thank you for that donation, Penguinator, and well played. All right, so Couch is going to encounter now this fiendish Mylon who was sent by Golbez to slow him down. So what we're going to do here is with these 4 zombie companions that are with Mylon, we are going to throw Cure 2s at them because in many of the Final Fantasy games, the undead enemies have the property of taking damage from curative items. So the roughly 300 or so, quote-unquote, damage that those cure items do is enough to one-shot those zombies. We're also going to employ the twin commands from Palom and Porum to do large chunks of damage to Mylon, who takes 2100 damage before he is defeated. And in this phase here, once all of his quote-unquote children are gone, every time you hit him at all, he is going to counter with that lit 1. That can be especially dangerous for our low-level twins, as 2 of them can fell, especially Palom, which is not what we want to see. Luckily that was the case. Couch playing it nice and safe here with his curing. And it's definitely important that we have everyone alive at the end of this battle because we want all of our levels and everything like that to line up appropriately for some very specific timing that we're going to need for the next boss fight that we're going to be doing. And in order to prepare for that boss battle, you're probably going to see Couch do a menu right here. We're going to cure everyone up. We're going to arrange our party in a very specific order. And then we are going to get into an encounter with Mylon's second form, known as Mylon Z. I'm going to let Couch concentrate here, and then I'll explain what's going on when he's done. Alrighty. So, you saw that carrot get used as a vicious assault weapon on Mylon Z. Here's what happened there. Couch employed what is known as the mimic glitch. So the way that it works is that when you get the twins into their twin state, as far as when they're casting their spells, but then one of them dies, the other one is going to mimic the actions of another one of your party members. And we set this up in a specific way that makes that essentially forces Palom to use the carrot as an item in battle, which is absolutely not at all intended. And the property of carrot, I believe, is carrot the one that's fire 3? Or is that trash can? One of them's fire 3 and one of them's holy, right?
I believe that trash can is holy.
Okay, so carrot is fire 3. So it essentially casts fire 3 8 times is what it does. Why it was coded to do that, I don't know. But that's the way that it works. So by forcing Palom to use that item, he essentially one-shots Mylon Z. Doing this trick as opposed to fighting him the normal way, which would be to throw Cure 2s at him, maybe have the twins cast Twin once or twice, probably saves somewhere in the neighborhood of about 45 seconds. So now, here's the thing. That trick is not at all guaranteed. It can go wrong in several ways. One of them is if Mylon Z kills any party members before they're supposed to die, namely Porum. The other way that it can fail is one of the crucial elements to making sure that trick goes off properly is to have Tella cast stop on Take This. Now, Tella, rather unfortunately, is notorious for not always being successful with that spell or certain other spells as well. And if he is unsuccessful with this, not only is it a big waste of time and also a great source of anger, but it is a phenomenon we like to refer to as Tella life. And I believe we have a Frankerface Z emote, thank you Penguinator, coming through, to signify this phenomenon, which is not very phenomenal. It's actually pretty bad. So luckily that didn't happen. Couch pulled off that trick masterfully. Now, here's the thing. You can actually do the same thing on Mylon before, where you would throw the carrot at Mylon, and then with Mylon Z, you would throw the trash can at him. Now, you might be thinking, what trash can? At the very bottom of your item menu is just an icon that says trash can. And what it's meant to be for is if you want to get rid of any items that you have in your inventory, you can just dump them. But what we do instead is, just like we did there with the Mimic glitch where we forced Palom to use the carrot as an item, we force Palom to use the trash can as an item, which casts the holy or the quote-unquote white spell 8 times, which is not going to be sufficient damage to kill Mylon, but it is sufficient damage to kill Mylon Z. So typically you see them done, if you're going to do the Mimic glitch in both ways, carrot on Mylon, trash can on Mylon Z. All right, so Take This has discovered the secrets of becoming a paladin, which grants him purple hair, and it also grants him the ability to equip some better armor, use white magic, and now he also has the cover ability, and that's going to be useful in a couple of boss battles coming up here. He also has a latent ability where if any of your party members are in critical HP and they're targeted by a physical attack, as long as Cecil is not parrying, Take This is not parrying, he will automatically jump in front of that party member and take the damage for them, even if that means that he dies himself. Okay, now here's another thing. You might be wondering, why are there these weird red rectangles on the side of the screen now? Is that some sort of bad thing? It's absolutely not. This is a very crucial guide that we use in the No Credits Warp category to find out if we have what we call either a good or a bad chocobo, or as I like to refer to it, either a good or bad bird. Couch is going to walk down in here into the chocobo forest. He's going to pick up a yellow chocobo and he's going to ride it back to Mysidia. Now, where this chocobo leaves the screen is very important, because if it leaves in a place where it's not supposed to, that 64 door glitch is not going to work. So let's hope that this bird is good. It is. Okay. So what we do not want to see is the top row of pixels of the bird's head to be anywhere in those red rectangles. If it is outside of them, it is a good bird and we can proceed. If we get a bad bird there, it's not the end of the run by any stretch. It just means that we're going to need to go to another chocobo forest and just continue to pick up birds and drop them off until we finally get a good bird. But Couch fortunately won't have to do that. So, because each time you have to, make another attempt on a bird, you're looking at usually somewhere in the neighborhood of about 10 to 15 seconds.
I have a donation when you have a second.
Yeah, go right. Yeah, go right ahead. It's perfect time.
I have a $64 donation.
Oh.
Tina Hacks, who says, this is to thank everyone who has worked so hard to make this event amazing. Donation goes to Couch's choice.
Beautiful.
So
Oh my.
no
That's
pressure,
one I
Couch.
have to think about. I'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah, no problem, man. Just let me know.
Yes, Scholar's bringing up a good point. That legend that we saw there, which actually, if you listen to him, it's actually inscribed on the legend sword that Take This now has once he became a paladin. But Scala has done us all the favor of taking that legend and putting it onto a nice bright blue shirt for you to wear, so that you can be proud of the legend by walking around with it. So, what our brave adventurers are doing now is taking the Serpent Road from Mysidia back into the town of Baron. So we're back to where we want to be, but we want to have our buddy Yang with us. So sweet. There's Yang. Let's have him join. Wait, why is he mad at us? He's gonna sick these 2 guards on us. And we need to fight our way through them. Now that we've disposed of them, Yang himself will confront us. Now, the way that we get through this is we wait for Yang to kick everyone twice, and then we have Cecil hit him with a physical attack.
All right, and we got the cutoff for Yang, the twins, and Tella.
There we go.
All right.
Okay.
Did you want to put your money towards one of those, or? Are we
No, I'm thinking a different game. I'm looking at the incentives
cool.
right now.
We'll resolve that at the end then.
All right, cool.
One funny thing about that little cutscene there, where you have to hit Yang with Cecil. I'm sorry, with Take This in order to advance it. Take This actually has a chance. Shout outs to Ghost Girl there. We walked right through her there at the counter to the inn. Cecil actually has a slight chance of missing Yang, and even if you miss, Yang will still say ouch. Alrighty, so we've now obtained the Baron key.
All right, Palom.
Dead.
All righty. Tella.
Tella is going to be 273.
Porum.
Poor him. We are also going to be making this one dead.
All righty. And Yang.
Will be second to ND, capital B, ST.
Alrighty, cool.
And when do we cut off Thid?
Sid will probably be right after Kainazo.
Lovely. You heard in chat. Get your donations in for Sid's name.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, everyone, for your donations for those characters. All right, so now that we have named our characters, Couch is going to use this newly acquired Baron key to do some very specific shopping. First, he's going to get a stack of headbands and a stack of karates. Now, all right, I wanted to let him concentrate on doing that because he needs to He needs to buy some very specific items and some very specific quantities. So when it comes to doing the 64 door glitch, one of the main elements that goes into it is the placement of certain items and certain quantity of items in your inventory. There's two main different ways to do this. One is referred to 9 item, and the other is referred to as 12 item. Couch is doing the 9 item route here. And for that, he is going to need, let's see if I remember this. He's going to need a stack of 114 fire claws, a stack of 68 fire claws, a stack of 58 ice claws, 4 different stacks of 13 cure rods. He's going to need the staff, and do you use the thunder claws as your 9th item?
Correct.
Okay. You can either use the thunder claws or you can use paladin armors. I use the paladin armors in my route. That's a slight variation. I think that's really just a matter of preference, to be honest. So Couch now has all of the items that he will need in order to do the 64 door glitch as far as the item placement goes. He will get all of those items into the right place in due time. He's going to do them as much as he can in battle. You've seen him do quite a bit of item arrangement during battles, like during cutscenes or animations, so on and so forth. And he will definitely be doing so with some bosses near the end to get things into the right place. So that will all get sorted out eventually. So we're going to check Tella's status, see how much agility he has. No. What he's actually doing is, there we go. So what he just did there was a magic point underflow. What happens is if you attempt to cast a spell for which you do not have enough magic points, but you highlight that spell, go down to a spell that you can cast, and then immediately switch back to the spell and press A on the same frame, you'll force the game into trying to cast a spell that you don't have enough MP for. It's going to take your MP value negative, but it's going to underflow it back to a value of about 65,000. Now, the reason why this is important to do this is because in this next battle, Tella is going to be casting Meteo. Now, once you get done with Mount Ordeals, Meteo shows up in Tella's list of spells. However, it takes 99 MP to cast. Despite leveling as much as your heart desires, Tella's maximum MP will never naturally go above 90. Thus, normally making it quote-unquote impossible to cast a spell. But by doing the underflow, it will allow us to do it. So, in this Baigan fight, basically we're trying to get to Tella's turn as quickly as possible so that he can cast Meteo. We're also going to kill off everyone except for Take This and 273. So that we are routing the experience that we get in a very certain way, such that when Kane rejoins, 1-800 rejoins our party, he will be at level 19. So this is all very deliberate. And Couch knows what he's doing, trust me. Yeah, shout-outs to the Shadow Party. Alrighty. So we're going to bring Second Best back to life. And we are going to... do a little more menuing for equipment. Now we're going to confront the King of Baron. It's not actually the King of Baron, is it? It is Keinatsu, another one of the evil Golbez's fiends. So, Keinatsu has 4,000 HP and is going to take whole big bunches of damage from Tella when he casts Lit 3, but only when he has this water surrounding him. Because at this point, he's now weak to lightning elemental spells. And Couch has done enough damage. He's also done the wave skip. Shoutouts to that. That is big time swag. Here we go. This boss shaking is a fantastic opportunity to rearrange a bunch of stuff in the inventory.
All right, and that's the cutoff for Sid.
All right.
All right.
So we'll get to naming Sid after this long, very sad cutscene.
Yes. This sad cutscene is going to make it quite clear as to why the very generous Tina Hacks, as well as some other donators who gave to Runner's Choice, wanted to have these two be named Dead and Dead, and I'll just let the scene play out.
So it looks like we're going to be doing a little bit of walking in the save room for Cave Magnus, where the Dark Elf is. We'll be doing about 50 steps. So, we'll be doing some extra steps in Terraria too. So get prepared for some pirouettes.
Yes, the pirouettes. So, for those of you who are fans of the randomizer of this game, you see that we just obtained the airship, which is known as the Enterprise, which is why that randomizer is named Free Enterprise. It's a nice little double entendre because not only are you allowed to go wherever you want, but you essentially get the Enterprise for free. Get it? Get it? Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do it, but it was
right.
done by someone.
All right, can we
I
get
will not
Sid's
take
name?
Sid's name will be 8255.
All right, cool. Perfect.
Yeah, and it's a shame that we don't have Kane, Sid, and well, actually, are you going to have them?
We will not have
Yeah,
Kane, Sid, and Tella.
Yeah, you're not going to have Kane, Sid, and Tella in the same party at any given time. So, unfortunately, it's not going to spell out It's not going to spell out that number. For those of you who might have missed the reference there, why there are certain characters who are named what they are as numbers, I'd like to go back and point out that they are named 1-800-273-8255. That's what those numbers collectively are. That is the phone number for the National Suicide Prevention Hotline in the USA. If you or any of your loved ones or any of one you care about could make use of that, it is a great number to know, because it could save someone's life. It really could.
Shout outs to Nooster for coming up with that.
Yes, indeed. Nooster was the one that donated for those 3 names there, and yeah, I mean, my hat's off to you. That was well done. All right, so yeah, and thank you, Scala, for not only typing that number out, but for the website as well.
Yeah.
So what we've done is we have come back to see Jazeta here is now bedridden because he just doesn't have the strength to fight on. But he does give us a very important item called the Twin Harp. This will be used in a few minutes. You also saw Couch use an ether on Tella, who had his MP underflowed to have 60-some thousand. And you might think, well, why would you do that? Obviously, he's got more than he's ever going to need. Unfortunately, underflowed MP will only allow you to cast magic in battle. If you're trying to do it in the field menu, it simply won't work. So we use the ether on Tella to restore his HP back to normal, which will allow us to cast a spell, which we do right there, which is exit, so that we don't have to walk out. All right, now Couch... okay, he's just going to go for the one in the corner. Couch is now going to get, despite it being bright purple, it is actually a quote-unquote black chocobo. Black chocobos can fly over everything but mountains, and we are going to use him to land over here by this cave. This is the Magnet Cave. The gimmick to this cave is that any characters wearing any equipment that are metallic in nature, the magnetic field in this cave will render their equipment so heavy, their metal equipment so heavy, that they cannot move. Now, as it stands, all of our characters... Couch taking some extra steps there. All of our characters are wearing metal right now, with the exception of Sid. If Sid were wearing metal, and therefore all of our characters weren't able to move, it would basically be game over, because you wouldn't be able to run, and you wouldn't be able to take any action, and you would just basically... you would just get beaten to death by whatever encounter you're in. All right, so Couch is going to step into the save room to do some extra steps here.
For those extra steps in that first room, I blame the randomizer.
Oh, were you going to check that chest?
Yeah, I was going to go open the chest.
I'm sorry. I thought those were intentional. You got me.
No.
You know, I did that. I was like, I don't remember ever having to do extra steps in the first floor of the Magnet Cave. Maybe he's got a weird seed. I don't have your seed chart pulled up, I admit. So, okay, well. Oops, those weren't extra steps. Those were couch derp steps. Alrighty. So, we are now about to enter the room where we would confront the Dark Elf. But he's going to do a quick menu here. Remember that iron glove that we took off of Cain in the very, very beginning? This is where we put it to use. It is going to get put on Sid's arms. Now he is wearing something metal. Now, the reason why we want everyone to wear metal is going to be readily apparent here in just a minute. So this first fight here with Dark Elf. It is scripted that the fight ends as soon as everyone is either paralyzed and or dead. So what we do is we intentionally have everyone wear metal, so as soon as the battle starts, everyone's paralyzed and the battle immediately ends. Now we cut back to Edward, who senses that his friends are in terrible danger, and he summons all the strength and courage he can to walk 6 tiles to his harp and play a song. And he plays his little bardy heart out. Now, because we have a twin harp, it is making the same sound that Edward's harp is. And Dark Elf finds this music to be very, very nasty. So nasty that it actually is strong enough to break the metallic field that he has set over this whole cave. So now we can actually fight him fairly. Dark Elf has 2 forms. We're gonna have to do some damage here, and then after we do that damage, well, first we're gonna kill off Sid. This is again part of the experience routing. He hit Dark Elf once. That's good enough for us. Weak missed. So after we do enough damage to Dark Elf, you know what he does? Me change. Now, the nice thing about this change is that the boss flag that was on Dark Elf now disappears, which makes him vulnerable to that weak spell. What weak does is it reduces, if it's successful, it reduces its target to a random, it reduces it to a single digit worth of HP, any value from 1 to 9. So once weak connects there, basically any hit at that point is going to be enough to kill it. And that's what we do. And then we acquire a Crystal of Earth. It is possible to leave this cave without picking up that extremely important Crystal of Earth, so you don't want to forget that. Once we have left that room, it will allow Tella to cast Exit. Get out. That is true. We talked before about Tella missing spells, though the chances of it are much less than, like using life during the Octoman fight or using stop during the Mimic. I guess during the Octoman fight, or if you're trying to do the Mimic glitch, weak does indeed have a chance to miss. Okay. So we picked up this black chocobo and we're taking it back to Troya, quote unquote. You might be wondering, why did Couch park so far away? The reason why is because of the many different things that we need to set up properly for the 64 door glitch. The positioning of the XY coordinates of the land speeder, the airship, and the black chocobo all play an important element in making sure that we do it properly. I don't think Couch does frog manip. What Scala is referring to there is that you can actually pay attention to the frog's movements when you first come into Troya, and based on those, you're going to know exactly what directions the black chocobos are going to be walking in the forest when you go up there, such as you can walk straight up to it and grab it, as opposed to sometimes having to chase them all over the place, which can waste, double-digit seconds easily. So, it's a way to avoid that. So now that we have the Crystal of Earth, Kane says, all right, fork it over, and Golbez will give Rosa back. So Kane takes us upward to the Tower of Zot, where Golbez awaits us at the top. Yeah, Panzer, if you consider frantically wasting time to be fun, then yes, it's a blast. So the Tower Zod is going to be the last place where we're going to endure random encounters. And the random encounters here are probably the most dangerous of any place in this category. I think this is probably between the battles here and one of the bosses that we will fight here in the Tower Zod. This is probably the clenchiest part of the run. Now, Couch is going to make... I assume he's going to make a detour here. And he is. So we're going to pick up this treasure chest, but there is a monster in a box, and we know this. Couch is going to take the time here to do an underflow again with Tella, because he will be casting Meteor again. But we open up this chest to discover a Flame Dog. He's going to cover Tella so that he doesn't die. Cast Ice 2 on this Flame Dog, and that should one-shot it. It's also going to kill off second best to do even more experience routing. And that was close on... take this. Alright, so... we do this fight so that we can obtain the Fire Sword. And this is going to be important for a couple of particular boss battles. So now we've just got a few more screens to walk through, and then we will encounter a boss confrontation and a very important cutscene, and then another boss confrontation, and then that'll be it for the Tower of Zod. Now, if Couch gets into any nasty back attacks here, he actually... Ooh, he's going for it. He actually could risk dying, which would not be intentional and would be rip run. So, no commentator curse today, right?
Oh no, I've made safety saves as well, so we're good.
Well, forget I said anything then. One more screen after this before we get to the in which the boss battle will occur. Oh, we can make a safety save right here. Duh. Excellent. All right, so we are going to cure up 273 and take this for this battle that's going to occur right here. Yo, nice palette swap swag there, Couch. I see you. I see you. Alrighty. So these are the Mega Sisters. Normally, this is actually a fairly tricky fight. However, we're just going to employ Meteor and just cheese our way through it. All right, so the fact that that Tella got targeted with that fire there is important, because the sisters here are going to crack off 2 spells. If both of them target Tella, he will die, and if he dies, then recovering to get him back to the point where he would be able to cast Meteor again is very complicated. So luckily, we didn't have to deal with that, because Couch was smart enough to cure him up after enduring that fire. So there we go. All right, so all we do is just cast Meteor. All of the sisters die instantly, and off we go. So here's Golbez. All we want to do is just get our girlfriend back, and that's it. That's all Take This would like to see. But 273 has other ideas. And those ideas are basically emptying the entire playbook onto Golbez with his most powerful spells, only to do slivers of damage to him at a time. And then once he discovers that what he's doing just isn't working, he says, "You know what? Let's do the Meteo." Now, this is significant in that by casting Meteo, it's such a strong spell that the vigor that will be required for Tella to do it will be too much for his brittle old body, and it will cause him to die. But first, Kane needs to go and lay down, because this is too much for him, too. So he's just going to just take a nap while everything resolves here. Golbez will now turn his attention to 1-800, hit him with a Zappy Bolt, and render him incapacitated for a moment. And then Golbez is going to walk away. But we've got this Tella clinging on to life here. He's going to stand up and fall back down. And in true Double Dragon style, he is going to flash for a few seconds while prone on the ground and disappear, which of course signifies his death. Chat, let's type F to pay respects. All right. So now 1-800 is going to go over to our no longer betraying us friend, who's going to say, "Oh, we need to go rescue Rosa." And 1-800 does it just in time before Valks is crushed in gory and horrible fashion by that boulder above her. So now that we have Valks with us, and now that I forget the number for Kane. Oh, 1-800. Now that 1-800 has come to his senses, we're all going to join forces to go do what needs to be done. But before we do that, we got a menu. All right, so you might notice that it looks like Couch is wearing 2 fire swords there on Take This. So he did a basic item duplication where instead of underflowing it and doing a whole bunch of them, he does it in a much more simpler form where it just reproduces it once. And the reason why we do this is because we want Kane to have a fire sword, and then later on we're going to want to have 1-800 we want to have a fire sword, and then later on we'll want to have Take This wearing a fire sword as well. But before we can advance, we are accosted by the third of Golbez's fiends. This is Valvolus. Now, the way that Valvolus works is that she will take this tornado form here. While she's in this tornado form, you cannot do any real damage to her. Every time you hit her, you're going to get a message that will say, "We must stop her spin," and then it's going to tell Kane to jump. Now, when Kane hits her with a jump, she comes out of this tornado form for a little bit, and we can do damage to her freely without the worry of her countering every attack. So So basically, we're just going to jump with Kane, attack. I'm sorry. We're going to jump with 1-800, attack with 8255 at second best. We're going to have Valks cast slow a couple times, and take this, we'll throw Dancing Daggers. Now, hopefully, if Couch times all of this right, she's going to take this tornado form here, but he'll be able to do enough damage after he breaks her out of it that she will not get back into it again. Let's see if he can do that. He's looking good so far. The damage rolls from 1-800's jumps have been pretty good from what I remember. Yo! Oh, what a great damage roll on that jump. Even having Valks contribute with her fists. I like it. Alright, she is going to take tornado form, but a jump is going to land, and I'm guessing this is just about it. I'm going to break form. The Dancing Dagger will probably kill. And it does. Okay, there you go. Nice fight, Couch. Nice fight.
Thank you.
Alright. Again, when the Fiends die, they do that kind of shaky shake thing. If you are able to be on somebody's turn and not have a command input, you can go back into the item menu and shift items around, which saves you from having to do a separate menu to get everything in place where you need them to be for proper navigation of the 64-door glitch. Alrighty, so now Rosa has teleported us back to... I'm sorry, Valks has teleported us back to Take This's bedroom in Baron Castle, where we can regroup and figure out what is going to be done next. And what they determined that they need to do next is to go into the underground to employ the assistance of the Dwarf Kingdom there. And we're able to do this because we have obtained a key item called the Magma Key, which when we go into the town of Agart and toss it down the well there, it will cause the mountain just outside of the town to explode in fiery horror, but at least it opens the way into the underground. And that's what's important. Bob, this would be a good time for donations, actually, if you have any.
Yeah, a lot of cutscenes.
Do we have any?
It would probably help if I unmuted my microphone, huh?
Yeah, that would, yes. That helps.
Well, what I would like to do, to be honest, is talk about some of the games that are coming up a little bit later, because unfortunately this run can't go on forever. Let's be honest here. So right after this, we're going to have Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon by Macker Don. Then after that, we're going to have Dragon Quest V, which I'm sure is going to be a hell of a time. And then we have... I don't know how to describe the Link's Awakening reverse boss order run other than to say just watch it. I mean, that's the only way I know to describe it. So, and then we've got Kingdom Hearts and then the Final Fantasy 1 randomizer coming up after that. So we've got an excellent day of runs ahead of us. That would be a fantastic time. And to speak to some of the donation incentives that are coming up. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, as I said, has the good versus bad ending. Bid War. Dragon Quest V, you can name the hero, the daughter, the son, and then there's the waifu bid war, most of which is on Deborah right now, thanks Magus. And then The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening is has an option for be a 3-heart challenge, which is at $20 out of 200. So there's lots of cool stuff to donate for. So get your donations in.
Okay, real quick, what Couch is about to do is a crucial part of setting up, actually getting into the 64-door glitch. I'll explain what he's doing afterwards, because we definitely want to give him some serious time so that he can count. All right, so Couch is done. So here's an explanation of what just happened there. Couch was intentionally going up and down stairs, because doing so advances the floor counter that he's on. The game counts what floors you're on, and the values go from 1 all the way up to 64. Now, why this is important is when you cast the warp spell, what the game does is it basically takes the floor that you're on, subtracts 1 from it, and then puts you on whatever floor that was. Well, right now, with all those up and downs that he's done on the stairs, he got to floor 63, because every time he goes up and down, there was advancing the counter by 1. Okay? Now, what's going to happen is when he's done with this battle, he is going to cast warp, which is actually going to take his floor value to 0. Then he's going to exit a room, and it's actually going to take the floor value negative. The game doesn't really know exactly what to do with that, but luckily Couch does, because he is going to make the last 10 minutes or so of this game completely wild. I think it's unlike any glitch you've ever seen, if you haven't seen this before. But first, a couple boss fights. This is what we affectionately refer to as the doll fights, the dolls fight, or Calbrena. You see there's 3 purple ones and 3 orange ones. The 3 orange ones have 300 hit points each. The purple ones have 1,000 hit points. The gimmick to this fight is if at any point there is only that the dolls remaining are of only 1 color, then it will summon what I refer to as Big Baby. Other people refer to it as Big Doll. But basically, it is this gigantic baby doll, which is extremely dangerous. You also notice that Couch used Valks to cast the mute spell on his party. This is deliberate, and the reason for this will be apparent in the next fight. All right, so now you see there's just a purple and just a... Oh, boy. Oh, Couch. Oh, Couch. We're going to use run buffers here as much as we can. Oh, boy. Oh, no. Okay, so this is what happens if you... So the way that that's supposed to go is that you essentially kill the last purple doll and the last orange doll in the same turn. And if you do that, then you skip this big baby phase. All right. Now, this is rather unfortunate, but this is not the end of the run. Again, Couch is a pro. He knows what to do here. And what he needs to do here is, first of all, he needs to switch rows. What this is going to do is it's going to put Cecil... I'm sorry, it's going to take this in the back row, and when he's covering people like second best, or, you know, we let Valks go. When he's covering, you know, people like second best, it's going to reduce the amount of damage that he's taking. So basically what we just need to do here is jump with 1-800 until this thing dies. You see, you saw how Take This jumped down there and took damage right in front of what's his name, second best. That's part of his just passive cover ability. So when the big baby gets to critical HP, if you don't kill it after, you know, it takes its next turn, it will run out of power and it will split back into these 6 dolls again. Now, you might be asking, well, if the 6 dolls became the big baby and became the 6 dolls again, can it become the big baby again? And the answer is yes. This, if you don't play it right, this could essentially become a never-ending cycle of small dolls, big doll, small dolls, big doll. Couch, I have a feeling, is going to take a little bit of extra time to make sure he lines up everything properly here. All right. So we're going to wait for Kane to jump and then wait a couple seconds after that. That doll is going to die, and then immediately after that, there comes the dancing dagger from Take This before it has a chance to do anything. And now they're all dead, and we can move on. Alrighty. So now that the dolls are gone, we have yet another appearance from Golbez. Shoutouts to the crooked horns on his helmet, by the way. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to run buffer to get Kane in the air to jump. That is very important. What's also important is there's going to be a lot of talking cutscenes here that will allow for Couch to rearrange items. You also saw Golbez there attempted to use a technique called hold gas. Normally what hold gas will do is it will paralyze all of the members of your party. However, based on a programming oversight in this game, you can only have one negative status effect on you at a time. So the hold gas doesn't actually work because Take This is muted. This is important because Couch just queued up a fight command with Take This, which is going to hit Golbez momentarily. And we do this because the mist from that mysterious dragon, the jump from 1-800, and the attack from Take This are all hopefully going to amount up to at least 3,000 damage, which is what Golbez has, and it's going to allow us to kill him before he gets into a fairly dangerous phase. So For those of you who weren't aware of why that Mist Dragon seemed to come out of nowhere, Bear is back, and she's now an adult. Great. Long story as to why that's the case, but yay, there she is. She's actually going to be useful coming up here. Golbez is going to disappear except for his hand. We're going to watch it creepily run up and grab this crystal and then disappear. So, what he took there was the dark crystal. Now, normally this is a key item that you're going to need for a specific dungeon that you do later in the game. But we're about to use a little trick here to get that dark crystal, and then all hell is going to break loose. So Couch is now going to rearrange his window color, and you might think, why is he wasting time doing this? Also, why is he turning up his battle speed? This all seems very bizarre. Bizarre is one way to put it. Here we go. So we're going to cast Warp. This brings us back into that crystal room, and we're going to grab that dark crystal that we would normally need to come back after doing some certain other story stuff to get. Now Couch is going to walk out of this room, and here we go. This, folks, is the 64 door glitch. What's happening here is the game is now putting you through negative numbered rooms, and it just gets all wacky. So the first thing that we do is we get ourselves to this cutscene here with the sealed cave. Now, the reason why we do this is because as part of its cutscene in the story, Golbez regains control of Cain. He steals the Dark Crystal, and then he leaves your party. The most important part of that is Cain leaving the party, because we're going to be gaining another party member throughout the course of this glitch. And if our party is already full, that party member cannot join. So, yeah, 1-800 goes bye-bye. All right. So Couch is going to do further navigation through this glitch here. This is there's more wackiness going on here. Oh. Okay.
We're good, no worries.
Okay, cool. I noticed you got put to the right of Cockle's house a couple times.
Yeah.
Can I jump in for a sec?
Real quick.
All right. $32 from Austin Satford, who just says, thank you for doing this, for Take This. You're welcome. And if you want that to go towards one of the incentives, just toss me a whisper, Austin.
Yeah, and thank you for that donation. All right, so, here's what we want to see. All right. So now we're on the moon, and we need to walk down to this tile here at the mouth of this hallway in order to trigger this cutscene here where we will meet up with Fusoya. Fusoya is an extremely crucial part of this run, in that he is going to be the one to destroy the final boss. And we're going to do this in a very, very strange way. Now, so here's what I was talking about. If Cain is in your party, because as part of this cutscene, you see Lunari and Fusoya join. If Cain is in your party, Fusoya won't join, and you can't finish this here. All right, so Couch is going to check his menu right here. 151. Okay, 151. What I was looking at there was his in-game timer. 151 is completely clear, Couch.
Yeah, I'm already through.
Cool. Nice. All right. So what we were talking about there was something something that I referenced in the very beginning of the game, which was the in-game timer being important there. We have this handy chart which we call the bacon chart. And it's going to tell us down to the very second, not just the minute, but the second, when you go through a particular room here in this glitch. I think it's the third one after you leave Fusoya's palace. It will tell us with the value of our in-game timer whether or not it's safe to go through that room or whether or not we are going to soft lock. Now, the soft lock was affectionately referred to as bacon because when you do it, it will make this noise that kind of sounds a little, it's like this noise, which kind of sounds like sizzling bacon. Luckily, we avoided that, which is bad. All right. So now that Couch is in the... here we go. All right. Couch has now made it to the bottom of the subterranean. This is where the final confrontation takes place. Now, you might notice some 4-digit numbers coming up here in chat. We like to play a little something called the Medio game. Okay? Normally during this cutscene, it is Golbez and Fusoya that are confronting Zemus here. However, instead, because of this goofiness we've done with the glitch, we've got Golbez and 8255. 8255 does not have nearly the magic power that Fusoya does. So in the next cutscene, when 8255 is going to attempt to cast Medio on what will eventually be Zeromus, instead of it doing, the quad 9s, which it normally would, it's going to do somewhere between 16 to 2300 damage. And it's going to be an even number, and we like to try to guess what it is, okay? Now, here are the rules. And the number has to be between 1600 and 2300. Actually, I guess it could be lower if you want. But we go by Price is Right rules, meaning that if your guess is over, it's the one that's closest, but you cannot go over. All right? So, we are going to see who wins here in just a second. Couch, just because I don't know where I am as far as the stream delay, why don't you go ahead and just shout out the number once it comes up?
Oh, yeah, I will.
Okay, cool.
Uh, 1604.
Oh,
low,
wow.
low.
Very low. All right, so 1604. It is looking like our winner is just an MDP. I see a guess 1492, and I do not see one. I do not see one besides that. Was there 1600 flat? Let me go back. I see an 1800. I don't see a 1600 flat. Someone guessed 13 something, but that's not close enough. 1492 will do it. Yep. Congratulations, Justin MDP. You win the Medio game. Your prize is me telling you that you win the Medio game. All right. So, Zeromus too strong. We have perished. Luckily, all of our fallen friends, dead and dead. Jazeta, second best, so on and so forth. They're alive again. Hooray! And they're about to pray. They are about to pray for us to vanquish this evil, and they're going to grant us their powers. Now, speaking of powers, we've granted ourselves power throughout the course of the glitch, and that power was granted to Fusoya. You'll notice that among a lot of the menuing that Couch did during that glitch, one of the things he did was he rearranged the placement of some of Fusoya's white magic spells and black magic spells. This was done to give him an ability called UPTCO, which is it's literally UPT space CO, UPTCO. And you're going to see what UPTCO does here in just a minute. You might also notice that Couch is running away during this. This actually is a time-saving technique. If he were not to be running, they would all be huddled down with those kind of those flashing dots over their heads, which is what they do when they're in critical HP status. That causes lag with this background here. So by running, we don't see that animation, and it saves about 12 seconds. So we're going to have all of our friends who are not with us, despite the fact that we see 2 second bests there. And now we see 2 Fusoyas here. Yeah, Fusoya, we didn't rename them. They are going to give us their strength, their power, their energy. Basically, all they're going to do is just refill HP and MP. But that's not going to be terribly important for this fight here. Now, the way that you would normally fight this is you would have take this, use the crystal to revert Zeromus to its final form, and then you kick that thing's butt. But instead, oh baby, Couch is doing it for the swag. So we are going to summon Zeromus's final form. I know that Couch likes to do this because the music for the final battle is extremely good. So what is going to happen here is we're going to cycle around Fusoya's turn. We are going to go into his white magic menu, and we are going to cast that UPTCO spell, which was conveniently placed right in the upper left corner. It's going to cast a spell called Reaction. Fusoya explodes, and GG.
I seem to remember this guy having a knot on his head earlier in the marathon.
So, GG Couch on that run. That was great. That was a lot of fun to watch. A little explanation as to what you just saw there. So, that UPTCO ability, gives you an enemy skill called Reaction. You're never ever intended to have that. What it does is it's kind of like a self-destruct ability. And the way that it works is that when reaction happens, it will just switch the flag of its target to be dead. Doesn't do any damage or anything like that. It's just that target is now dead, no matter what. Well, here's the thing. Because this was never intended for the player to use, they never programmed it to have that switch flag to dead be nullified by a boss flag. So, obviously, you can't use any kind of instant death abilities on the final boss of the game. But because this particular ability they never considered having to mitigate that, we're able to exploit that and instantly kill Zeromus. Actually, in that form, in its first form, before Couch used the crystal, you cannot actually do any damage to Zeromus. Everything you do to it, I believe, heals it. But because we're not doing any damage with that UPTCO, it just switches its flag to dead, and it's done, and the game is over. And time is specifically when Zeromus' sprite disappears. And that, my friends, is the Final Fantasy IV No Credits Warp category.
Speaking of, and I don't know if this is a long explanation or not, someone tweeted me earlier and asked what the difference between a credits warp and the stairs glitch is, but I think that's fairly obvious at this point. So the credits warp is it's a particular way that you would navigate through the glitch that is much shorter. We actually skip that. You skip that final fight altogether, and a lot of walking through the glitch. However,
it is based on pressing an A button on a certain frame, and thus it is extremely unreliable. I would say if you attempt it, you've probably got about like a 1 in 3 chance of doing it correctly. So because of the very low and very random rate of success there, it's one that's very rarely run. This is considered, by all means, this is commonly accepted as essentially the any percent category for this game. So,
all right. So we are coming to the end here. Let's start doing a bit of a wrap up. Couch, thank you so much for the run. That was awesome. Anything you want to say? You want to do some plugs and that kind of thing? Please go ahead.
Just want to say thank y'all for having me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. There's a whole bunch of great runs coming up. It's a great community here. It's a great channel, great cause. Keep being awesome, and we'll catch y'all later. Thanks for the support.
Vanny, commentator extraordinaire. Anything from you?
Well, I mean, between doing the commentary tonight, hosting earlier tonight, the 2 runs that I did earlier in the marathon, and another hosting shift that I'll be doing on Friday night, I have gotten the wonderful opportunity to be very involved with not only this marathon, this cause, but this wonderful group of people, not just the Valkyries, but the people like, like yourself and Couch and others who have been participating in this event. And it's been a true honor. It's really special. I really enjoy it. And I want to thank everyone for allowing me to part of it, thank everyone for watching. And please continue to watch. We still got several days of this marathon left, and we still got to get to that $10,000 goal. So please, by all means, continue to show your support. Continue to donate, continue to watch, continue to spread the word about this marathon. We still have plenty of time left in it. And just everybody continue being awesome. Much love. Thanks, everyone.
And I have been Bob the Ninja Goldfish. Please stay tuned for the Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon Any% run by Macedon coming up after this.